What's up, everybody? This topic here is one I've wanted to talk about probably even before I started this channel here. I just wanted to address this topic, and I've talked about it in some of my writing before, but not really to the extent that I want to right now. Um, and I mean, you saw the topic there, of course. It's online crushes. Not just talking about online dating here, but I'm talking about like an online crush. To me, an online crush is very much like a blind date basically, because with a blind date you get your hopes up and you're imagining this person in your mind, and we tend to gravitate, good lord, gravitate towards perfection when we imagine what a person will be like. And of course that's setting ourselves up for disappointment, because people are people, and you got to embrace people and their flaws. I mean, really, our flaws are what make us unique more than anything else. I think our flaws really help us to be unique and to stand apart from each other, and there's beauty within that. But again, with that whole blind date type of thing, you start to imagine this person as being so amazing, and you may have a quick conversation with them before you actually meet up and this and that, and the conversation may be amazing, and then you meet in person and it's like wah wah, but yeah, that's just the way it is. And this is the way I look at blind dates as well, because maybe this is just true because of my friend that has tried to hook me up a couple of times. I know him, so I know if he really thinks a woman is just like fine and there's like a lot going on with her, she's a great person, then he's gonna holler at her. So I can pretty much bank on it now. That's why I don't even let him try to hook me up anymore, because I know, that he's passing for a reason, basically. And that might be true for a lot of you all as well, that, blind dates haven't gone well because the person trying to hook you up, they're only trying to hook you up just because they would never date that person themselves, but they think they're all right for you, and it's almost in a way, eh, maybe this sounds messed up, but in a way it's almost, I would say it's almost insulting to you that they would try to hook you up with somebody just because they feel like that person basically isn't good enough for them. I mean, maybe some of you get what I'm saying. I hope that you get that. I'm not trying to, really sound too negative there, but I think that's what it is. But anyway, getting back to online though, really, like I said, it's the same thing. You interact with people online, and it's so easy to get your hopes up, because people online, even people that don't have the greatest personality online, they might be more comfortable because they are. I mean, you think about it, they're in a comfortable setting. They're at home, they're probably on the couch, or wherever, at their computer desk, whatever. They're relaxed. They're in their environment. So their personality may come out a lot more online, So, you gravitate towards that so much. And it doesn't mean they'll be that way in person, though. They're probably going to be shy, very timid, at least for a while, or they might be that way just in general in person. Because there are some people, their personality is pretty much all online. Like that's their comfort zone. But they just don't do well with people face to face, one on one. So there becomes that disconnect there, and that's where you end up getting disappointed. And then also, some people will get enamored by pictures that they see of people online. And by the way, I do have to express this here. Somebody that doesn't show their face like at all online, and I don't. It kind of depends on which social media it is. Like there are some times where I don't show my face a whole lot. It's just because I've never been big. I don't think a lot about taking pictures of myself. I like to take a lot of pictures, but I don't think of that too much about taking pictures of myself, because I'm like, I know what I look like, but I just don't really worry about that. But I've shared pictures of myself and images of myself. I mean, if somebody wants to see what I look like, they can, But if somebody never shows what they look like, it doesn't mean that they might be unattractive to you. But at the same time, though, I think it is a confidence thing. So somebody that doesn't have great confidence within themselves is they're basically not ready for a relationship. You have to have some level of confidence to be involved in a relationship. And nobody can give you that confidence. I mean, people can help a little bit, but I'm telling you, you could give somebody thousands of compliments and try to build them up, but if they don't have it inside, it's like wasting your words, basically. So but yeah, as I was about to say before, some people become enamored by pictures that they see of people, but everybody should know by now that those pictures, a lot of times people are giving you the best possible picture of you that they can. It doesn't mean that that's what they actually are going to look like in person. And you have some people, of course, that will be dishonest. They'll give you a picture that they took like 5 years ago, or something, and they looked at their best. They might give you a picture where they're all dressed up. Women may give you pictures where, I'm not saying give you, but I'm saying that they're just available to see. But women may show, have pictures posted where they have all this makeup on and this foundation and all of that, and when you strip all that away, they look like a totally different person. I even heard this little news blurb about a guy that got very upset because he married a woman, and then he saw her with her makeup off and was like, like they were really freaked out because she looked so different. And I saw the pictures, like she looked pretty rough to wake up to. I mean, I won't lie, but I just don't understand, how could you get to the point where you're gonna marry somebody and you don't know what she looks like without makeup? It's just, I don't quite understand that. But again, getting back to the online thing, yes, of course, people are going to put their best images out there, but it doesn't always mean that's what that person is going to look like. In fact, I know a woman. I'm not going to say how I know her, but I know this woman that posts pictures, and when I see her pictures on Facebook, like very, very, I mean, she looks very attractive in her pictures, but I see her in person and she's cute. I'm not saying she's a bad looking woman, but I'm like, she has a magic camera. I'll just say that, because she doesn't look the same in person as she does in those pictures. So I can understand, I could imagine, and I think she's single, but I can imagine a guy possibly meeting her online and then meeting her in person and being like, what in the world, And like I said, she's not a bad looking person. I'm not saying that, but she just doesn't look the same. And I think we all look different in person, because a picture is, it's a 2D image that's very staged, and seeing somebody in person, 3 dimensions and everything, especially seeing somebody casual, or seeing somebody, how they look in the morning and all that, that's very different. And I think, some older people would definitely say, and I so agree with it, like, you don't need to even think about being serious with somebody till you see what they look like in the morning. If you can handle what they look like fresh out of bed in the morning, look, maybe a little slobber on the face, all that, cold in the eye and all that, like, if you can handle what they look like first thing in the morning, then you're good to go, But, yeah, getting back to, I'm trying to stick to the topic here, really. Yeah, so I think people they build up their expectations because they so want this idea of perfection when it's really not what they want. Because I think I said this previously in a video, and if not, I'm saying it now. Perfection is boring. It really is. Like, if you find somebody and it seems like they have no flaws and they're just gorgeous, and and it can be kind of boring. Like I said, I think our flaws and everything can make us more interesting people, and and learning to accept somebody for their flaws, and then also, like, there's almost charm within them at times. Now sometimes it can be just annoying, but somebody's flaws, can be kind of interesting and make them unique to you and special to you. So yeah, I think that's a big part of it, and that's something you really only learn by being around a person. So the big issue with online crushes, though, is that so much of it is about projection. It's not about what that person is putting out there for you. It's a lot about what you're projecting onto that person, because you know them to an extent, but I feel like you can't really know somebody unless you at least have conversations with them. I mean, real conversations, not this LOL smiley face. I mean, like, real conversations. That's when you really get to know somebody more, and especially spending time around somebody, especially if we're talking about a relationship, that's an absolute must. You have to spend time in person together before you can even really get into relationships. Now, that's my personal feeling on it. I know some people feel differently, and for some people it has worked out where they met somebody, but they're lucky. I'll say that, though. They're lucky where they met somebody online and they met in person and they did click in person. I think that is rare, just because, again, people build up so many expectations and we project so much onto each other, and, and we just make it impossible for somebody to live up to. And I've had a lot of women do that to me, and it gets kind of frustrating because I've actually had some women say to me like, "Oh, you seem like the perfect guy," and I'm like, don't do that. Like, don't call me perfect. I am not perfect. You know, I'm definitely not a perfect person, and I know that I can be very blunt. And you know, I'm gonna say how I feel. You know, I might do the little white lies here and there just to kind of spare feelings, but for the most part, I'm very blunt, very honest, and not everybody can take that. Not everybody can deal with that. They may claim that they want that until they actually have it. You know, so yeah, I definitely have my flaws, and I don't like anybody thinking that I'm perfect. And then also, I know with my poetry, poetry can be, if you're not to try to sound egotistical or anything, you know, but I think my poetry is good. You know, I'm not going to say it's great, but I think it's good. And good poetry can be almost a dangerous thing because boy, can it go to some people's heads. And I've seen it happen so many times where women read my poetry and they're just like, "Oh, you're so deep," and you know, yeah, I am deep. I'm in that. But but they just start to say things like, "Oh, it feels like you're writing about me," and I'm like, and I'm just thinking to myself, I don't even know you. Like, no. Like, I mean, it's good that my poetry has that effect. I want it to feel like, because I do try to do my poetry in like broad terms where different people can identify with it. But when a woman starts to say, "It feels like you're writing about me," and "I feel like you know me," and I'm like, no, stop. That's all projecting there. Like, I don't like that. And because I know they're building me up to be something that I just can't live up to. And you know, it's not so much that I don't want to disappoint somebody, but I want to be real though. You know, I want people to know if I'm going to meet somebody online and then, you know, take it into the real world, I want them to really know who I really am. I don't want all this stuff projected onto me that I just can't live up to. And I've learned to avoid doing that myself because I've been guilty of it when I was younger. I don't think I've done that recently, but I know when I was younger though that I definitely would do that a lot. That I kind of build a woman up in my mind, and then we meet in person, and it's just not, you know, don't click at all. And part of it was me being shy. I know that I'll say I used to be a lot more comfortable maybe online. My personality would come across a lot more and maybe not so much in person. Now I guess again I guess it comes with age. I'm to the point where I really don't care. I'm me up front, and you know, maybe I don't know, maybe I still have a little bit of shyness about me here and there, but for the most part, I mean, I'm me, I'm direct, and you know, it is what it is. You know, you either like me or you don't. You know, that type of thing. So yeah, I mean, to really sum up this video, I guess my big thing to say to anybody that you're feeling like you have a crush online with somebody, just kind of, you know, kind of calm your nerves a little bit, pump the brakes, slow down, and really think you know, how much you really know that person and how much of it is you projecting onto them. You know, that's something you got to think about. I mean, and this really only applies if you're trying to pursue more. If you're not trying to pursue more, then, you know, enjoy your crush. I mean, so be it, you know. But yeah, but if you're trying to pursue more, then you really have to think about them as a real person, and a real person has all different sides to them. You know, where they're not two-dimensional, these flat, perfect people that you see on the screen. So yeah, if you're trying to pursue more, just really take the time to get to know them as a real person, and you know, ask important questions and the things that really matter to you. As a matter of fact, don't be afraid if the two of you, now if it's a mutual crush and you two are talking about possibly meeting up, whatever it may be, then you got to address those deal breakers. You know, you shouldn't wait till you go out on a date with somebody and, you know, they light up a cigarette and you're like, "Oh, you smoke? Well, yeah, you should have known that." Because if that's something you cannot stand, then that's something you got to ask about. So bring up those deal breakers for you. You know, go ahead and address them before you ever even meet that person. You know, and I'll say this as well, of course, and this should go without saying, but I'm gonna say it. Of course, in this modern age, of course, you gotta be safe. You know, be very safe about who you meet in person, because, you know, people very much can misrepresent themselves online. The whole catfish thing, which I can't even watch that series. That series creeps me out. I know I was just talking about that with a friend. She was saying she's watching it. I'm like, I can't even do it. It creeps me out, and I hate that people misrepresent themselves so much, but it happens, you know. So yeah, just be careful about that. And I mean, of course, there are some things you can do to find out if somebody's really who they say they are and everything. I mean, I don't know. I don't care. Like, if you got to ask somebody to take a picture and hold up today's newspaper, do what you got to do, you know, to make sure that they are representing themselves. And a lot of those people on Catfish that feel like they get manipulated and played is because they didn't ask the right questions. And if you really are asking the right questions, like you're asking for a certain type of picture, and I'm not talking dirty, I'm talking about something that's reasonable. If you're talking about them sending you a reasonable picture so you know they are who they say they are and they don't want to do it, then something's not right. There's ways of finding out whether or not a person is legit. So if you get that funny feeling, because most of the people, I did watch a couple episodes of Catfish, and most of those people, they had a funny feeling. That's why they contacted the show. So I would just say, if you have that funny feeling, just back off. Just back off and find somebody who's more open and that you feel more confident that they are who they say they are. Yeah. I can't stress that enough. Just be careful with online dating, and to spare your own feelings, don't build people up to an impossible level. Get to know them as who they are. That's if you want to pursue something. If you really want to pursue something with them. But one more thing, I don't want to forget about this, because this is something I saw of all places on Ricky Lake. So this was some like many years back. But I remember watching this couple that they had never seen what each other looked like, which I don't even understand that. How could you never see what each other looked like? And yet they said they were in love, and that when they were going to meet up and they were going to marry, and that's all there was to it. And it was the most awkward, uncomfortable meeting like ever. Because real world is so different from online. And these people that claimed that they were going to stick to it regardless. And Ricky Lake even asked them, because she could see how uncomfortable and awkward they were next to each other. I don't even think they hugged or anything when they came out, and they were just like not even looking at each other, So she asked, do they still plan to get married? And they're just like, yeah. And who knows, maybe they did, but I can't imagine that lasted for very long. So yeah. Focus on the real, not the fantasy. Focus on the real. That's what matters if you're going to pursue something serious with somebody that you have met online. But, as always, I definitely want to hear your feedback about this. I think it's a pretty interesting topic, because it is such a part of our modern world, the world we live in now. So, yeah, I definitely want to hear what you think about this. Have you had an online crush before, and how did that go? Or, have you, I would basically want to hear the positives and negatives. What positive experiences have you had? What negative experiences have you had? Let's talk about them, down in the comments. And thank you all so much for taking the time to watch and, to support this channel here, my much smaller channel, but the one that I really do enjoy those. So, yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to check this out. And please don't forget to comment. I really do like to respond to the comments. And, yeah, you all take care. Till next time.